The Utah Jazz are quite possibly the worst team in the league, but despite this and despite spending the last season tanking, there is a core, there is a future, there is something to root for. Utah has done a great job collecting draft picks, and even last season, those draft picks have started to pay off. Welcome to 30 Teams in 30 Days, let's get into the Utah Jazz. Nowhere better to start than the number 5 overall pick, Ace Bailey. Bailey was one of the most hyped draft prospects, and he was someone that you could argue would have been a number 1 pick in most other draft classes. Bailey is a large forward standing 6'9", and he is long, quick, and athletic. He's best known for his shot-making ability and the skill of hitting tough, difficult shots. He's great out of the triple threat in isolation and hitting tough pull-up shots. He's a great 3-level scorer who can handle the ball and play defense as well, drawing comparisons to Paul George. The biggest question with Ace Bailey is how well his game is going to translate out of college. He played at a small university at Rutgers, and he played well, averaging 17 points, 7 rebounds, and an assist on mostly good efficiency. However, this team went 15-17 and lost in the first round of the Big Ten tournament despite having another top 5 pick in Dylan Harper. Even though he played against small competition, Ace Bailey did pass the eye test to me, and given the fact that he is only 19, is going to have more than enough time to develop. While he's going to have to adjust to the NBA, I think he's going to be just fine. Teams are also concerned about his attitude and his unwillingness to play for other teams. However, I don't think this is going to be an issue, and I think it may have been even slightly overblown at the time. Everything that I've seen has pointed to him being happy in Utah, and I hope that continues in this upcoming season. Bailey is not the only reason to be excited from this offseason, as the Utah Jazz are home to the Summer League MVP, Kyle Filipowski. Filipowski had a solid rookie season, but it was in this recent stretch in the Summer League where he made his name known. He won the Summer League MVP, averaging 29 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and a stock per game. On top of this, he was something we rarely actually see in the Summer League, and that was efficient. Filipowski shot 56% from the field and 39% from 3 on 8 3-point attempts per game. Last year, he was a 35% 3-point shooter on 3 attempts, so not only do I love to see the volume increase, but I love him being more aggressive with the shot. I really hope this continues into the next season, and while he will have to share the floor with some other Utah big men, I think he is very versatile and should be getting a fair amount of minutes. Filipowski has demonstrated that he can do just about every single thing you need. He can create his own shot, he can score on his own, he can finish at the rim, he can shoot the 3-ball, he's become a deadly pick and roll target, and he's only going to become even better with a lethal 3-point game. On top of this, he's also not an awful defender, albeit I expect that he's going to be even better in this upcoming season. Filipowski will be only 22 at the end of the year, and I think he's already shown a ton of potential. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the running for most improved player, especially if we see a huge uptick in his minutes. And the Jazz have another young promising rookie joining the squad, and that is Clayton Jr. Despite some draft boards putting him in the 2nd round, Clayton Jr. was drafted 18th overall and traded to the Utah Jazz. He was the starting point guard on the NCAA champion Florida Gators, and the combo guard averaged 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. He shot nearly 39% from 3 on an impressive 8 attempts per game. Clayton Jr. is an elite 3-point shooter who can shoot off the spot up or off the dribble. He is touted for his shot creation ability as well, scoring well from mid-range and at the rim. On top of that, he is also a good ball handler who scores well in transition, can help out the Jazz pace, and can help create out of the pick and roll, and I think he can pair incredibly well with a player like Filipowski. Possibly the only reason why he wasn't drafted higher is because he is an older rookie. He played 4 years in college and will be 23 at the end of the season. While it's not a set rule, typically speaking, older rookies have a lower ceiling but a higher floor. This allows them to come into the league a little bit more polished, but they may not have the same potential as some other young players. Regardless, Clayton Jr. is a great pick who I think is going to be one of the biggest steals in this draft. And another target out of the pick and roll is Walker Kessler. Kessler is coming off of a huge bounce back season after he disappointed his sophomore year. In the last season, he averaged 11 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists per game while shooting 66% from the field. Kessler had previously finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting, and he took a massive leap this year both on and off the court. He grew a lot from a mental standpoint. He grew more aggressive and he grew more dominant, especially out of the pick and roll and out of the low post, as he shot 73% at the rim last year. To be even more excited, he led the league in offensive rebounds at an insane 4.5 per game. That's the kind of thing that would get you benched on a tanking team like the Jazz. He has a career average of 2.4 blocks per game, which is absolutely insane, and last year he was 2nd in blocks per game, just behind Victor Wembanyama. The big biggest thing with Walker Kessler is finding the right lineup. He was a negative with most players last year not named John Collins, and now that Collins is gone, we're gonna have to see who else he can work alongside with. Filipowski can give the spacing and scoring that he needs and allow Kessler to bully down low. I think working alongside Walter Clayton Jr. can be really well, as these two can be an excellent pick and roll duo. And don't worry about Walker Kessler not fitting in with the core, because he just turned 24 a few weeks ago, meaning the young center could be the perfect centerpiece for the future of this team. And one of the other younger players to talk about is Keyonte George. Now, George isn't as positive as some of the other players I've mentioned. He had a good rookie season, but he didn't follow it up with as strong of a showing. His box score stats look good, averaging 17, 4, and 5. However, he was one of the least efficient players in the league, shooting 39% from the field and 35% from 3. On top of that, he was one of the worst defenders in the NBA and hasn't exactly shown the best mentality. While he was initially a starter at the beginning of the season, he was eventually relegated to the bench and to the 6-man role, and he wasn't exactly happy about that. Even though George didn't like his role, he still got playing time. He averaged about 31 minutes per game coming off the bench, and he actually grew more efficient, going from a 52 to 56% true shooting percentage in games where he came off the bench. He has the tools to be good, but he needs to not be a plus 7.5 on defense while being this inefficient, because few players in the league are that bad on defense and still get playing time. Even a lower but more efficient volume for Keyonte George would be a sign of measurable growth to me in this upcoming season. And to mention him really quick is Lauri Markkanen. Lauri is coming off a pretty solid season, but he's kind of just too good for this team, especially for a team wanting to lose. At 28 years old, he is also a little bit too old for the Jazz as well, and Utah has been selling off guys like Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and John Collins. Markkanen is expected to be next. If they could get a young raw player or a draft pick, I think moving him would be a good idea. But that might be kind of hard to do. I don't exactly see Lauri Markkanen as the kind of guy to build a team around. I think he could kind of be like a third best guy on a championship team. However, he is getting paid like it, receiving $50 million per year, and that is through the 2029 season. Even though he's not a bad player, you can make an argument that because of the length, this is one of the worst contracts in the NBA right now, and it might be a little bit harder to move him. If Markkanen is on the roster at the beginning of the 2026 season, I do think he could be a good guy to mentor a player like Kyle Filipowski, but I am worried that he would take away minutes, and I think minutes is what the young players on this team need. The Utah Jazz are still set to be one of, if not the worst teams in the league, but this is a team that has slowly been growing its draft capital while getting young players. Clayton Jr, Filipowski, Ace Bailey, and Walker Kessler is an incredibly promising young core on both offense and defense. Given the fact that the Jazz are definitely still a few years away from competing, this group is going to have time to grow together. These were the guys that I wanted to highlight, but that doesn't mean that they don't have other young players like Isaiah Collier, who averaged 9, 3, and 6 his rookie year, or Bryce Sensabaugh, who averaged 11 points per game and shot 42% from 3. The Jazz might actually have a future. The Jazz might actually have a plan. They have multiple young players worth checking out. They have multiple guys who can break out, and if you watch the Jazz this year, they just might surprise you. This was 30 and 30. If you liked the video, you know what to do, and I will catch you all next time.